I don't know. It humanizes us, right? And without newspapers, we lose a lot, not just information, not just history, not just learning how we've grown, but I think it takes away the soul of a community as well. My name is Dawn Booth, and I've been a community journalist in Fort McMurray for over a decade now. So this is from 2010, which is the Saturday today, and this newspaper. This was our weekly newspaper, but this is our weekend paper, and the Fort McMurray Today now only has 3 issues a week, where it used to be a daily. So a lot of the newspapers that I've actually worked for don't even exist anymore. What I've seen take place with community papers is they are writing that local news, whether it's in our community here or throughout Canada. The community newspaper is really the whole source of collecting that information. And if we have no people writing those stories, that information gets lost. It's our local community content too that I feel that history needs to be preserved, because how does a community grow without having that knowledge of history? How do we learn from our mistakes? You hear that common saying all the time, why reinvent the wheel, right? If the wheel's already in turn and working now. History does a lot of that for us. It gives us that information to see, oh, okay, they did this, it didn't work. Now this could be in different, you can use this in so many different aspects, right? But I feel like without preserving our history, and if it's lost, then we don't learn. We don't learn anything. A lot of the whole idea of preserving history came from the death of my mentor and late publisher, Tim O'Rourke. And then after following him, sadly we lost Mrs. Jean, who was the first newspaper publisher in Fort McMurray. Now you look back at their lives and what they've done and the newspapers they published, you just see that, that predominant aspect that we've got people here that are just nurtured with so much knowledge of our community. And unless we're writing that down and unless we're compiling that will get lost. I mean, this is what I'm using as my tool when I'm looking back at things that happened 50, 60 years ago. I'm looking through newspapers, right? Just as the same as a paleontologist would look at fossils to find out how those animals lived, what was the world like, what did they eat, what was on land. I'm doing the same thing with newspapers now, diving more into history as I'm learning things about these people. There'd be nothing else for me to go on if I didn't have newspapers available and at hand. I think why newspapers work the way they do, and they work well, still in my opinion, is it's a universal place for everything, for all news, from obituaries to the day-to-day stuff to human interest. Maybe you're looking at the sports and you just love sports. Well, if you're on Facebook and social media, all your whole news feed is just going to be, the Raptors or whatnot, right? But if you're looking through a newspaper, maybe you're going to glance and see that story and learn something new. If you're not, the newspaper almost opens that book to allow you to look through all that and be and maybe something that you're not interested in, but you'll learn about it and you get interested in it because it's there in front of you.